Hey everyone. Uh Alex is having a little bit internet connection, so he's gonna restart it. So let's give him a second. He's gonna restart his internet. While he's restarting his internet, I wanna hey Warrior Survivor, I want to just say thank you, thank you, thank you to every single one of you out there. God bless all of you. If those of you that have heard, I've sent out the Substack, put out the post, but we have hit number one. We're number one in world politics, joining my son Aaron at number one. He's been number one for over a month now, and holding strong. We just hit number one, and we need to follow in his footsteps. We need to keep going strong and staying number one because it's not just a number, folks. It means that our message is being heard, our voices are being loud. Congratulations to each and every one of you because it's not just me being known, it's us, it's our community, it's our movement, it's our voices, because without each and every one of you, we would not be there. I would not be there because it's teamwork. As I always say it, the number one thing, our motto and our here is that doing nothing is not even a possibility. Everybody could do something. So God bless every single one of you. Let me try to get Alex back on. Uh, Give me a second. Let's see if there's internet. And in a few minutes, we're also going to have Olga join us. Olga Lotman, the great Olga. She's been running around busy. She has a lot. She's been writing her own Substack for those of you that follow and subscribe to her. So she's going to be joining us and giving us some information that she has been hearing. Let's see if we got Alex. Warrior, actually, the link is should be in the for the GoFundMe link should be uh in the heading. I put it up there. I think I have a copy of it. I'll put it up there. Uh, no, that's not it. Hold on a second. Hold, hold on a second. Let me try to find it here while we're getting Alex. Uh, there I am. Okay, I think this is the link. I I think I just posted it. What I'm going to do also is later on, I'm going to also write a letter and a post. I'm waiting for Alex to give me the dates, the itinerary, also like what is it exactly he wants to get over there, what the plan there. So yeah, he should get that over to me sometime today, and then I'm gonna send out. A post. I'm going to send out a mail, email to everybody, updating with the links, with everything, and it should be really something that you don't want to miss. Let's see. How do we? Bear with me, guys. I'm going to give Alex a call on. Let's see if we could get him. Okay, can you send me a link? I just sent you the link. Try to pick up again. I'm sending to you. All right, I think we got Alex back. Let me just send him another link. Oh,
Okay.
oh, there we go.
Is it better?
Yep, we got you.
All right. All right. Hello, everybody.
Hey, Alex, how are you? How you doing, brother?
I'm good.
Uh,
I'm good.
by the way,
I
Alex, a lot of people have been asking about the GoFundMe link. If you could do me a favor and maybe also post it as we're speaking into the message, and later on I'll write a letter to everybody with all the information once you get that to me, and put it so we could so this way because our community, we have incredible people here and everybody wants to help, and I know you spoke to one of the generals in Odessa, and they are, I could tell you, they are so excited. They're more excited about getting these hygiene packages than they are of food, because food is
Yes.
not the problem. The problem, one of the biggest problems out there, you would never even think about it. Sometimes it's the simplest things, but it's the worst, and it's hygiene, because there's, and Malcolm, if you were yesterday, you heard him, he said it's incredible. So, Alex, thank you so much for what you're doing, and thank you for putting this trip together. When are you looking? Are you still looking at around the 13th, 14th? Well, the
Yes.
14th, we're gonna be. If you could try to do it maybe after the 14th, because 14th here in the United States, we're gonna be having marches, and it's gonna be a huge day, No King's Day, where Donald Trump is actually going to be.
Did it show up? I'm sorry. Did it show up?
Yep, perfect, excellent. So if you could just do that every periodically, so this way, as people join, they could see it. You know what I'm saying to
Okay.
you? Because I don't, guys, we're not technically inclined, so we have no idea what we're doing. But the one thing we do know what we're doing is getting you that information and making sure that the information you get is like nowhere else, and the perspective. But well, when it comes to the other stuff, we're we're not professionals. We need to hire some people.
We do our best.
We do our best. So
I
yeah.
I, I believe that it would be wise. I'm planning like between 15 and 22nd. I think it would be more optimistic, especially 14 is important day in US. So let's do it like the day after, so to speak.
Well, maybe give it yeah, if you could give it a couple of days, yeah, because 14th is gonna be a fallout here, because I want the attention to be directly, because this is gonna be a very historical trip, something that nobody's seen before, some of the places we're gonna take him, and the information we're gonna give him. So I think it's important for people to really set their reminders on, and be able to participate, because it's going to be very important, not just from a historical viewership point of view, but I think the information you're going to get and some of the stuff you're going to see and people that Alex is going to talk to is going to be very, very important for you to understand what's really happening behind the scenes.
Well,
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
uh, to be honest, I couldn't agree more because of the memories from the memory, the stuff I used to see in the news, and then when I used to go into those towns and what I saw in Bucha and everywhere live, I mean, I think I turned gray compared the life with what actually happened and what they're reporting. So I think it's going to be
Yeah.
a lot of.
That's right. By the way, it's going to be Pope Leo's. He has the 14th also. So the 14th is a big day all around, between Pope Leo, between the No Kings protest that we're going to have, to our dictator that wants to have a birthday parade masqueraded as Army Day. But it's going to be an interesting day. So definitely, I look forward to that. Alex, tell us. I mean, I'm not used to. I don't think none of us are used to waking up in the morning and hearing good news. Like, this is day two in a row where we're not hearing that Ukraine has been bombarded by drones, but we're talking about now we blew up the bridge, which is another strategical, the Crimea bridge, a strategical thing that happened. Tell us about it.
Well, this morning, as I told you, yesterday there were a couple of sirens, a couple of warnings, and the warning it would be a missile, ballistic missile, and then the message would come in as imitation. So they imitating to see what the pepper is and everything else. Well, the usual strategy, but nothing happened here. But they did attack. They did attack Odessa, Poltava, Sumy, the cities that are very close to the border, and I mean, they hit the Kinjal, which is one of the strongest missiles, right in the center of the city. I mean, I wouldn't even post those pictures. That's how horrible it is. I
Well,
mean,
it's crazy. The media here is zero reportation about.
that
Yeah, I mean,
people
you could.
laying all over the streets, on the street, people laying. I mean, right in the center in the morning, in the center of Sumy, and in Poltava also. But that's very bad part. But the good part is that overnight, uh, because as you remember, we were talking about that Russians are trying to do the offensive around Sumy, Zaporizhia, and Kherson. So last night, our forces with the drones, they hit him. They hit the electric in the occupied areas. So all those pre-front lines where they want to attack from, they're in the dark. There are two regions that are totally in the darkness. They're occupied regions. At the same time, this morning, the bridge got hit. The Crimea bridge, and which is so protected. The two most protected assets in Russia are Moscow and the bridge. I mean, 99% probably is those two areas, and it still got hit. It got hit once in the morning, and they blew up a stand. I mean, from the underwater, so nothing can go on it for a while. Then there was another attack in the afternoon. There was an attack on the Crimea Peninsula where they stationed. So it looks like on Sunday with that spider web operation, it wasn't just a one-time thing. I believe since it was being prepared for a year and a half, just that operation, only our government knows how many other prepared alongside. Because
Well,
like
I could tell you, Alex, and I could tell your viewers because I was speaking to people in Zelensky's camp, and there's several more lined up. There's plenty of more lined up, and that's why the response and it's not actually the response, but the silence that you're receiving from Russia right now is a big telltale of what actually is happening behind the scenes. Because right now, the Putin is in shambles and disarray because if you remember what happened when Prigozhin attacked and the coup happened, the same thing. Right now, people have to understand the biggest problem for Russia. Russia's not scared of the United States, the other worlds of attacking them. They know because of certain what's it called, nuclear weapons that they have. It's always going to be negotiation. Where Russia's biggest fear, where Putin's biggest fear, and today I wrote a Substack letter about it. I hope you guys have read it. If for those of you that didn't read it, make sure you go read it. I put out there is the inside, the corruption internally, the systemic corruption that's been going on. The way Putin came into power, it's all based off. Anybody could get paid off, anybody could get bought off, anybody could get anybody, and that's what you're seeing right now as a result. Not only from the way their what's it called military, like their tanks are being destroyed or not working properly, their missiles are blowing up before they go up. That's because they're cutting corners. That's because these factories, machineries, people everywhere are trying to make money by cutting corners, getting paid off. Same thing with the general. Same thing with people on the inside. Because to be able to do an operation like this inside of Moscow, just think about it. This is inside of Russia, under the nose of the FSB, and the way Zelensky really stuck it to them by saying, "Hey, we did it across the street from you." So for a year and a half to be able to do that, you have to really understand. Because for those of you who have never been to Russia, have never been over there, it's hard to understand that, how it works. But for those of you that have been not only to Russia but any communist country, anywhere in the world that's not the United States, you understand that the forces and the security measures are to such extreme that it's built the way the communist system built. It's not only do they have listening devices and they have people and spies, but they have the way it's set up is people spy on people. They have your neighbor spying on neighbors. They have your family spying on family. They have your coworkers spying on coworkers and talking about it and telling what you do. So your way of life there is you don't know who you could be speaking to or who you could be sharing with or who could be seeing you. Could be that person that it's relating it to the KGB or the FSB, what they're called. So to be able to do an operation like that using people inside inside of Russia, paying them off and to keep it quiet and to be able to pull it off to such a degree where, again, I know the media is downplaying. This is the sad part. The media is downplaying it like it's okay. It's just a regular hit. This was a precise. This was just so you understand. Russia has not sustained a hit like this on their air force since World War II, folks. For over 80 years, since World War II, nobody's hit Russian Air Force. They've wiped out more than 30% of their Air Force. And this is what we're hearing from just from our satellites and from what information. Well, we know that it's probably a lot more than 30 because a lot of Russia is built off of hype. That's why you're not seeing the responses. Now, that's not to say that we're not going to see a response from Russia. We will see a response. And it's going to be, it's going to probably take them some time right now to regroup, to figure out they're going to try because that's what they are. And that's what they're going to, you're not going to stop that until you stop the war. So I don't want to make it believe that, okay, that's it. The war has ended. We're under attack. Russia. No, folks, it's still going to get bad. Russia's still going to try to do something bad. They're going to attack. This is just part of the way of life, especially for Putin. There is no going back because we've been saying it over and over and over. If you've been listening, that the way that the economy is set up, the way the Putin's alliances, the way everything is set, there is no going back. He can't stop the war. That's why we don't see no peace talks. That's why in Istanbul it wasn't peace talks. They were just technical negotiations about prisoner exchanges. But the interesting part. The really interesting part that I want each and every one of you to stop and think for a second. Where's Waldo? Donald Trump. Where's Donald Trump? It's been 48 hours. The only thing this man has come out and said in 48 hours is, how come nobody told me about the attack? He's confused. He's dazed. My people are telling me that
They
right
were
now.
told.
And my people are telling no, but this, do you know what happened? Because I've been speaking to the Biden people, and also, so the Biden administration, the previous administration, was involved in a lot of this communication and planning that's been going on for a year and a half. But since Trump has come into office, they've cut off all that communication. So yes, they were told that it's possible, but they were not told when and how and what's going to happen. So that's why. But the crazy part out, Trump is confused. He literally right now is like that child not knowing because you have to understand. He was told he was his whole pretense on Russia. He was told by Witkoff and others inside the circle is that he is Russia is dominant. Russia cannot, Ukraine could not ever go inside of Russia attack because this attack was so powerful, and this is why the media is so stupid. They're not even reporting on is the symbolism of it. The fact that not only did they wipe out 30%, but they hit inside of Russia with
Yeah.
Russian people. That a plan that took over a year and a half. That is so big. That is huge. Right now, the people in Russia, there's FSB agents, generals, they're getting arrested, killed. People are getting taken off the street. Trucks are being pulled over on every corner. There is mayhem going on because Putin right now has no clue of going on. And you know the interesting part today, folks. Alex, I was. It's incredible how history repeats itself and works because when I wrote the book, I had no idea. Shadow diplomacy, folks. Which we're going to today. I'm going to do a special. Last week I didn't do story time with Lev, and story time with Lev is primarily for only for paid subscribers. But today I'm doing a special. At 3 o'clock, I'm going to be doing story time for everybody, but only paid subscribers will be able to ask questions and comment. But this is a very important chapter, and I want to do it for everybody. But just to give you an idea of how the chapter starts, Alex, so you understand how story time repeats itself, is it's chapter 8, and it's called Moscow on the Potomac. And it starts with a quote: Putin has won. That was the contents of the text received by Kirill Dmitriev on November 9, 2016, moments after Clinton conceded the 2000 presidential election to Donald Trump. The sender, which we're going to talk about at the, just think about it. I wrote about Kirill Dmitriev in 2016
Wow.
that he was that the message that he received that people don't know, and this is going back to the relationship, how all of this played out, that
Wow.
Putin won. Not Donald Trump won, but Putin won, and it was sent by an American source inside of Donald Trump's administration. So today we're gonna do a special story time with Lev later on today. You don't want to miss it. You want to make sure you turn, and you want to become. For those of you who haven't subscribed, subscribe. For those of you who have not become paid subscriber, make sure you do it today because you do want to be part of the action. You want to be able to ask your questions. You want to participate, and besides that, it supports our mission. It's going to be 3 o'clock Eastern. Set your reminders. It's going to be right after the show here. We got Olga joining us any minute right now. Actually, let me see if she's around, Alex. I'm going to send her the invitation. Um,
Well, uh, I want to add a few things to it. You don't mind?
Go ahead.
Uh,
Go ahead.
I don't know if you saw it. You saw the response from worldwide about because what Russians brought to Istanbul. It was posted today. It was opened up so the world seen it, and a lot of response. Well, everybody basically said that nobody expected anything different. But the Israeli general, he said, "Well, I don't know if it's a bad news or good news, but the only way this war ends is when there is only one country standing." It says that otherwise they will never stop, they will never surrender.
I'm sorry, Alex. I'm just sending Olga the invite. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, and as far as the quietness, this is also through my back channel. The Russian side is a little in shock because there is no support. Because the quietness is actually a tool that works against the Russians, because America is not saying nothing, because Trump is not saying nothing. So it's like a monkey with a grenade right now. They have no idea which way he's going to throw it when he finally does speak.
And they don't know which to respond because they don't know what to expect. Or what else is going to happen? You know what I'm saying to you?
So for one time, the delay of his talking is actually helping a little bit. As
But
surprising as it is.
by the way, Olga's going to be joining us in a few minutes. I just sent her. She's just getting back, so she'll join us. And I'm curious to hear what she's hearing from her sources and updates about what's going on inside Russia. Because what I'm hearing, Alex, is chaos over there right now. This right now. It's worse than when Prigozhin, and this is what people need to
Oh,
understand. This is why
oh,
the severity of this attack is so tremendous that people don't understand, and the media is downplaying it to such a degree, is that when Prigozhin, if to take you back to people that don't say, Prigozhin was the leader of the Wagner group. He was a billionaire Russian's very close ally. He used to be his chef, became, his dear friend, his ally, bud buddies, ran Wagner, which was, he was the Eric Prince of the United States. And there came a point where they were in Ukraine. They were fighting, and Prigozhin started standing up, talking up against Putin, talking about how they were not giving him the right ammunition, that they were, that there was lies, propaganda, turning on Putin because of what was going on in the war and because of Russia's not being able to proceed. And at some point, they had a but, and Prigozhin went and he took the army and he headed towards Moscow. Folks, he actually headed towards Moscow. He was literally a few miles off of Moscow with tanks, with artillery, and the soldiers were letting him through. This was the closest thing they had to a coup until going back to 1991. And everybody thought it was going to happen. And then all of a sudden, the people that promised Prigozhin that they were going to support him, they turned their back, and Putin was able to survive and stay another day, because that was already the end of the war to Ukraine. That was the end of Putin. We came close to it once before, and Putin missed it. So you have to understand, for this war to end, that it's not going to end while Putin is in power. Putin has to leave power for this war to end. Either he has to pass away, he has to, get killed, or there has to be, some kind of coup that happens inside. There has to be, international takeout. But for Putin, for the war to end, and for Russia to be able to continue to save face and to be able to continue, because the people of Russia are not all aligned with Vladimir Putin. That's very important for people to understand. It's not just because it's like saying that everybody in the United States aligns with Donald Trump. That's not true. We all understand that. That's why we're here. We're in the resistance. That Russia has the same thing, and that's why I hate to categorize all Russians as the same and all Russians being like Putin. They're not. Most of them are just the same as the Ukrainians. They want to live in peace. They want to live together. They want to travel across borders. They want to be considered brothers and sisters and cousins and have family live on both sides like they did for hundreds of years and not have the problems that they're having. Look who's here. Look who's here.
Hi, Olga.
We
Welcome.
fi-
Hi.
we finally got her for you folks. Olga, everybody's been saying, "What did you do with Olga? Where did you hide her? Get her?" I said, "She's just so busy. She has so much going on. She's reporting nonstop that it's difficult." So, Olga, I know your time is short, and I want to thank you for coming and joining us here. I know there's a lot going on, a lot of craziness.
First thing, Slava Ukraini, because
Yep.
Героям
the first
слава.
2 days I'm
That's
3D,
right.
I'm smiling.
Yeah, right before you came in, we were just saying that with Alex that it's unusual for us to be able to talk in a good way because when usually we're all talking about how we got bombarded, how Ukraine got hit, but it's finally day two where we're on the attack and we're kicking ass and taking no prisoners.
I'm telling you, I was so sick on the weekend, and this was the first time that I've smiled and had the surge of energy. And I'm like, that's it. We are going to fight here and there till the end.
Okay, I want to ask you what you're hearing because I know your contacts in Russia, and this is important because what I'm hearing and what I've been writing about
Ukraine.
all day. But listen to me. What I've been writing
Uh-huh.
about, this is
Oh,
important, is that since this attack and the media is not talking about it, since the attack has transpired, what's really happening right now, Putin is losing it. He's not. He doesn't know who to trust. He doesn't know what's going on. He can't believe that this operation went on for over a year and a half under his nose, that there were Russians involved, paid off, used, and it's and I'm hearing it's worse than what happened with Prigozhin, and Prigozhin literally came with the Russian army miles away from Moscow, and people and the media is quiet. And I'm hearing that that's why we don't see no response from Putin yet. That's why we don't see what's happening. They are totally confused. And beyond that, Trump is like a little kid in the corner, doesn't know what the fuck is going on, doesn't know what to say.
he's probably throwing ketchup. Like, Putin, I told you, I'm giving you all this space. How can you screw this up? Um, yeah. What can I say? So on the Russian side, the most success, first of all, just to add a little detail, this was planned next to an FSB office.
That's, that's what I'm saying to you. Like, you can't.
talk,
This is
talk
like a
about
perfect
trolling.
spy movie. This is like a movie that if you were watching it, you say, "Nah, that couldn't happen."
The second thing I'll say is that, look, this is the one thing I've talked to, to US, I mean, people in US forever. That Russia's biggest vulnerability is paranoia. This is like embedded in the DNA, centuries of betrayal, and whatnot. And this was the easiest thing, honestly, too, called the collapse within Russia. This was the easiest trait to use because I remember even saying in 2022, all you had to do is, have one oligarch killed, put through the rumors that another one is trying to get power. Before you know it, you set off a mob war inside the country, and they'll be busy with that. With that said, Putin is beyond paranoid. Obviously, everyone is. The fact that this was, I mean, 2 points. We know how successful the operation was, but most people aren't talking about that psyops. And psyops is probably, I would say, even more important because this really not only demoralizes the Russians, but it's going to cause a witch hunt inside Russia. And the first, well, the second thing I posted after the wonderful news on Sunday, the first was congratulations, a beautiful day, and I can't believe, what I'm watching. And the second, how many security and defense officials are gonna be going through things like falling out windows, poison jailings, and whatever. And this is what we're going to see. We're going to see a huge spate because they don't know who to trust. Um, you know, Russia is known for having their own agents inside Ukraine, inside America, and frankly, across Europe, everywhere. But at the same time, Ukraine has their own agents inside security services who have been assisting them. Um, and this just goes to prove because, Ukrainians did this on their own with their own weapons, but they had to have the help of the Russians. And the fact that Putin knows this, I mean, and besides the fact this is the biggest humiliation for Russia, I could not believe when I saw Medinsky land, in Turkey. I was so sure that he was going to like turn around, get back on the plane, like go home.
No, he
Because
went and bowed
this is
down. And went,
humiliation. This is such humiliation. And the last thing I'll say, I was monitoring the Telegram channels on Sunday, and Saturday night, Sunday, and I mean, I can't tell you how angry they are, demoralized they are, and it's beautiful. I mean, it's frankly beautiful.
and you know
But
the crazy part, and you know the crazy part, guys, that this Putin, my sources have been telling me this has been Putin's worst nightmare for since the war started. His intelligence, he see like what we're reporting, he knows this stuff. He knew that he has people inside. There's
Of course,
corruption. He knows that that his military is not the same thing. He knows that there's his tanks are not built to the best quality because their people are cutting corners. He knows that there's Russians that will sell their soul for $1 and everything because that's how he came into office. That's how Russia survives. That's their way of life.
I remember in 22 talking to one of my contacts in Ukraine that I work closely with, who told me that basically in Russia you can hire a security officer to tape anyone inside Russia, except to high level Putin and high level,
It doesn't matter. In Russia, there's a saying: for the right price, anything could be bought, anything could happen. That's the
they'll
mentality.
give a missile away for a bottle of vodka.
Absolutely, absolutely. I
Not
mean,
even the right price, any price.
I mean, but it's the mentality that has been there embedded forever, especially
Yeah.
after the fall, especially after the 1990s and the fall, when basically they sold their mothers and their fathers and everybody around just for the money to become. So
And just to add one thing, just to nail your point home, because this is how they are. I mean, they're the most transactional, with no morals, nothing. They really will sell their mother and father and child. But just to add, I mean, imagine preparing a full scale invasion into Ukraine. You have armor of tanks on its way to Kiev, and these people are sitting and stealing, siphoning the gas out of the tanks. I mean, that just shows you
well,
how insane they go.
that that's exactly what happened. Me and Alex were speaking about yesterday, and Alex made a really good point about that. Not only did Putin know about that, but the same thing happened on the attack. Because if you remember, the reason why he thought he could take Ukraine and Kiev in 3 days because he had Medvedchuk, who was the leader of his party, the Labor Party in Russia, was telling him that they were spending millions and millions of dollars buying off Ukrainians, and he was promising
Yep.
Putin that when they come into town, they're going to show you the way, they're going to greet
Yeah.
you. But all
Yep.
those people took the money and went to Monaco, went to America, they disappeared. And when Putin's people got there, the tanks got stuck in the ground. And that's why we're here. So, but what the point I wanted to get to, and I'll let you go after that, Alex, because I want to just finish this point, is that
Sure.
Putin knew this all along, and he played the big tough guy, the bully, by threatening, by saying to Biden administration and all the administrations prior to Trump that, hey, if you allow Ukraine to fight back, if they, God forbid, strike on our land, we're gonna go apeshit. We're gonna destroy. We're gonna. So no matter what. So for the past since 2014, for the past 11 years, Ukraine has been only allowed to defend themselves. They were only given enough weapons to defend themselves, never to fight back, never to
No,
attack.
it's just to exist, to
Exactly.
survive.
Just to survive. Then comes in Donald Trump. And this was not Putin's ace in the hole thinking, because what Trump offered Putin that nobody realizes is he offered Zelensky on a silver platter. He told him, Zelensky, I've got him. He will do whatever I tell him to do. And that's why they thought they had this all set up, because the game plan was to get rid of Zelensky, to install a new government, to be able to, they knew they never wanted Zelensky in it to begin with. And what happened was, Trump's stupidity, Trump's erratic behavior, Trump's decline in conjunctivity basically blew this whole thing up. And now Putin is pissed at Trump, because Trump has lost control by giving Zelensky this power, by allowing the EU right now to support and give Ukraine weapons to go deep into Ukraine. He knows they're vulnerable. He
Well,
just, now they're screwed.
I'll just add one thing. Frankly, I wouldn't even give that much to, even with Trump, because look, you have three parties here. You have, United States, who's exited the building. I mean, they're frankly on the side of Russia. You have Europe, and you have Ukraine. Ukrainians will not sacrifice shit for anyone, because, this is their life, their land, their sovereignty, I mean, honestly, I better have your fingers plucked off, piece by piece, than to live under Russian occupation. No one wants to go back to that. Um, the United States thought that they had the power to force a surrender, which they don't, because again, you can't control Ukrainians, and how they feel. No one wants to go back under Russian occupation. Um, and then you have Europeans. Europeans, and I keep repeating this, have their own calculus. Every single European defense and intelligence agency is saying that a Russian attack on a NATO country is possible before 29. More so, in recent weeks, you had Germany, UK, and several other defense officials and assessments say that if Ukraine agrees to a ceasefire, that this will speed up an attack on Europe, and that they are seeing that the Baltics could be hit by 2027. 2027 is a year and a half away. So Europe has its own calculation. They frankly don't give a shit what Trump says, or United States.
You know what? Olga was just what they did in Europe calculate is what happened yesterday and today, and that takes all the calculations out, because after yesterday, Russia's not attacking anybody. They have now their own problem. Ukraine, this is so big, it's so monumental, that all of those things now. That's why right now I tell every single person out there, now is not time just to celebrate. Now's the time to put the pressure more, put the
Yeah.
pedal to the metal, keep the crack, as while the cracks are opening up, while all of this is happening. Right now is more important than ever to keep your phone calls going, keep your letters going, keep the subscriptions going, keep the paid subscription, keep doing whatever you can to support, because right now the word is we're getting louder and louder. People are starting to hurt. The cracks are being heard, and Congress is going to start to act, because what happened yesterday. That's why Trump is in such a disarray, because what is he going to tell the Congress?
When's he
What
going to tell
happened to
Putin? I could just
what's he going to
imagine
tell
that
Putin?
conversation.
Go ahead, Alex. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Alex.
All right. Well, it's all good. Couple of things I want to add. First of all, as you and I already spoke to, and I had some talks with some back channels when the war just started, because I had a lot of questions when the war started. I asked why, if they already went for it, what happened? And through my knowledge, almost until the day of the invasion, most of them over there did not believe it's going to happen. because they were always suicidal because they knew the shape everything is in. So that was a surprise for them because everything over there is built on robbing the system, robbing the system, robbing the
Hmm.
system, and they made millions. So a lot of people went down. This is the same thing right now happening, but this is like in the street. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. So right now, the Ukraine pulled their coat. Since 2014, the Obamas, all the president, everybody was afraid to s- just like you were talking about Trump. He's afraid to confront because what happens if Russia does something? Then he needs to respond. So the whole world was afraid of that. And just like the whole world was afraid to talk to Trump, who's the one person that stood up to Trump in Oval Office and then got what he needed? And the one country that stood up to Russians and attacked them and hit him and keep on hitting them 3 days in a row, and they keep on going. So once you pull somebody's coat, you can see what's under it.
Yeah.
So now the whole world sees what's under it. It's a little dangerous, of course, because so sometimes when you push the rat into the corner, it jumps on humans. So we are hoping that the teeth are all also stolen and broken, and they cannot bite. Go ahead, Olga.
No, I'll just before I have to hop off in a second, I'll
Yeah.
just add one thing. Before the full scale invasion, I remember writing about this and, discussing it at conferences. The West has this weird thing. They remember Russia. They look at Russia and remember the Soviet Union. And they never factored in the corruption. I mean, literally, if you know how contracts operated, and you do, inside Russia, if $1 million contract is handed, about 300,000 will go towards the purpose of the contract. 700,000 ends up going in people's pockets. I mean, I've watched roads, which is hilarious roads being built and stopped because there's a tree there and no one bothers cutting the tree, and that's the end of the road, and these people got a very lucrative contracts. So I said Russia's military, and I said it before in my podcast at conferences before the full scale invasion. I said they will attack, and launch this full expand their war, but they're not going to go far, because of the fact that all of their militaries parked in villas and yachts and offshore accounts. The problem is that the Russians are extremely cruel, and this goes back, centuries, that they will carry out terrorist attacks and that they use terrorist tactics like Al Qaeda and ISIS. This is why they get along so well with them. To use rape as a weapon, to use executions as a weapon. I mean, for God's sakes, what normal people have a concert with someone's head, and this is what the Russians do, and then spread it around. Or rape a 2-year-old infant and then send it around to on their Telegram channels. That's why they're successful in the fact that they don't have a moral compass. They don't fight by, they fight like terrorists. And at the same time, they have no problem, the people are expendable there. They can throw, millions and millions, and the more that are dead, the more that they are patriotic. That's the last thoughts I'll have on that.
And Olga, and then I want to thank you for coming, joining us. I know you have a run, you have another show you're doing in a few minutes. You need to prepare
Yes,
for.
my tracker.
Th- thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Everybody, please make sure follow Olga, subscribe to Olga. She has her daily tracker coming out right now that she's going to be working on, and she has a lot of great content. And she'll be coming back on next week or later
Yes.
this week. Once we have things going on, we'll get back to our regular schedule. But please, everybody, follow, subscribe. Olga, thank you. Have a great
And
day.
Slava
And yeah,
Ukraini, and
and
make sure
Heroyam
that
Slava.
everybody keeps Ukraine in the news, and and shares the good information, because we need we need to keep Ukraine in the spotlight. It's hard these
Ab-
days.
Thank
Absolutely,
Thank
Olga.
you.
Thank
thank
you. Have a
Bye.
great day.
Bye,
Thank you. Bye
guys.
bye.
Bye.
you. Uh,
So that was all good. That was great. She came in. She was able to give us a quick background on what's going
well,
on. Yeah,
I, I want to add a little bit to what you said before
yeah,
you. Um,
absolutely.
as you said about about the corruption and everything else, it's 100% right. Everything is built on corruption there, and also in Russia, everything is controlled by money. It's not the this or it's all money. It's all about money.
Money's
So
loyalty. Yeah, they're loyal to
money
money
is
over there.
so
Absolutely.
I believe the only way this war stops is sanctions, and and not just military, because once the oligarchs and people with money start losing enough money, that will flip things inside Russia. This is the only way this war will stop. They will flip the things over because it's gonna get to the point that they will have no way out. And I believe we are going in the right direction, because if you keep on hurting them, you hurt their business, you hurt their logistics, you hurt their oil and gas and everything else, and eventually they will crawl. This is the only way. You got to fight the bully with the hammer. But see, one thing is that people don't know Ukrainians. We have heart. We have heart, and we believe in. We love our land. We love our country. We love our people, and we don't bother nobody. But if somebody comes to us, we fight and we protect. Slava Ukraine! Glory to
Ge-
Ukraine!
Gero Slavo, I mean, Alex, thank you so much, my brother. And I just want to tell you guys, like, God bless every single one of you for out here supporting us. It's a Tuesday. It's almost 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We have over 600, close to 700 people. Each and every one of you are patriots that support not just freedom, democracy, but, God bless you. Thank you. And that's why, Voice from Ukraine and Leverage members, our platform is number one in world politics, folks. And that's, again, number one in world politics. And that's thanks to every single one of you for your subscriptions, for your support, for your messages, because our voice is being heard. It's part because we have an incredible team like Olga Lotman, Malcolm Nance, Jason Smart. That's just part of our team on Voice from Ukraine. And then on Leverage members, we have Unleashed with Michael Cohen and Malcolm Nance, and we have others. So I just want to say thank you, each and every one of you. I want to make sure that I make an announcement that Alex has officially opened up his GoFundMe. It's been up here. It's on the top of the page, and it's also been recirculating here through other people on the message thing. If you need it, you could DM me or DM Alex. We'll send it to you. The GoFundMe is basically to bring over to. He's going to go over to Odessa. He's going to do live streaming. He's going to show us stuff that the media doesn't show you, interviews that the media doesn't take. You're going to see behind the scenes some incredible historical stuff, but also he's going to bring over with him. I don't know the exact amount, depending on how much money he's going to be able to raise, but he's looking to bring over 5 to 7,000 hygiene packages. These hygiene packages are very, very important. They're right now probably the most important thing, more important than food or even weaponry, because they have all that stuff, guys. It's the simplest thing sometimes that you overlook they don't have. It's over 105 degrees right now. And we're not just talking about the soldiers on the front line that have nowhere to shower or have nowhere, and the diseases that start coming around by not having hygiene as well, but also the kids and the women and the families that are on the front lines that are relocating. They have no water. They have nowhere to hygiene, and and if hygiene is very, very important. So that is what we're gonna do. We're setting that up somewhere around the week of the 17th to the 22nd. So please, our lovely members and Voice of Ukraine from Ukraine community, do your job. Let's get Alex. Let's raise the money. Let's make sure that we go out there and do good, because you're actually going to see your money at work. You're actually actually going to see Alex go out there and give out just like he did from the beginning of the war. The important part is you're going to see people actually use the product. You're going to see their faces when they get it. You're going to see the soldiers' faces when Alex goes to the front line and delivers them, and they're getting it and they're using it. Because that's the biggest gratification of all. Trust me, we've done it, we've been there, and that's what I want to make sure that you'll be able to see. Okay, so I just want to say thank you again. And before we go, quick note: today we have a special story time with Lev, and it is pertaining to what we're talking about now. When I wrote the book, I was in prison. I was thought that it was never the information was never going to come out, and that's why I put it together. And usually, Storytime Love is set up for our paid subscribers. It's a special thing that I do. We do it once a week, but last week I wasn't feeling well. We didn't do it, so this week we're going to do two special ones. But this one, I decided to do it to the public. I'm going to do it to everybody, but paid subscribers are the only ones that are going to be able to comment and ask questions and get their perks. But the reason why I think it's important for everybody, because when I took a look and I started reading the book again, because I go back to it sometimes, didn't realize it, but chapter 8 starts off with something extremely important. It starts off with the first sentence saying that Putin has won. That was the contents of a text received by Kirill Dmitriev on November 9th, 2016. So in my book, I'm writing over 6 years ago about a gentleman named Kirill Dmitriev. Kirill Dmitriev, who now is a very, very important part in everything that you see going on. He is the leader of the Russian Wealth Fund. He is married to a woman that is best friends and partners with Vladimir Putin's daughter. He is also the special envoy that Putin nominated to come to the United States and to deal in these talks in the White House. He's also the individual that is like this with Jared Kushner and Stephen Woodcock, and he's an extremely important person in this whole thing. And he's been around, as you could see, going back to 2016. This is almost 10 years, folks. Almost for 10 years, the relationship between Putin and Trump and the inner circles. And that's why I think this chapter is extremely important. I hope none of you miss it. Make sure you come out, set your reminders. It's going to be 3 p.m. Eastern today. We're going to read about it, and then we're going to have some Q&A. But like I said, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. And for all of you that haven't, make sure you become paid subscribers so you could be part of the action, not only supporting our platform, but also being able to go out there and participate, ask your questions, get your answers, and be part of the discussion. So, again, God bless all of you. Thank you very much. Make sure you go out there. Alex's GoFundMe out there. Let's get him supported. Let's get his trip going. And this is going to be something historical. And I look forward to seeing all of you at 3 o'clock today. It's going to be a story time you don't want to miss. Chapter 8.
And I want to say one thing, Lev. That thank you for your time. That thank you for your strength. Thank you for your effort. I mean, for the past at least 5 years that I know you or maybe even more, you've been pushing. You've been fighting, and I believe the feeling there right now that democracy will prevail.
Oh yeah,
Democracy
no,
will prevail.
the cracks are happening, Alex.
God's with us, and the good will win. So God bless everybody. Thank you for your help, and Slava Ukraini.
Gurun Slava, and you're right. I mean, the cracks are not only happening in the, God is good. The cracks are happening in Russia. Cracks are happening here in the United States. Everybody, and Laura and all of you, I see you there. God bless you. Thank you for your donation. I don't know if Alex sees it more yet, but believe me, he'll be thanking you and praying for each and every one of you. God bless all of you for all the help you do, because without you, none of this could happen. And trust me when I tell you, you're really going to feel it when Alex is going to be be out there in Odessa when he's handing out these hygiene packages, when people are going to be using it. I promise you, you're going to see the people are so thankful. They'll be thanking you. They'll be out there thanking people because this is how amazing it is. So God bless you. Love every single one of you. Keep it up, and we'll see you because there's breaking news happening every day. So we'll probably see you the next day or two. So stay tuned to set your alarms to make sure you have them set up, and we'll be speaking to you soon. God bless you. Have a great day.
Thank you, Lev.